Anyways, good morning. Hey, it is Fantastic Freaky Friday. This is Bev. This is the Bev D Show. A little something we like to call the Bev D Show. May 24th, 2019. And wasn't quite so up and at 'em today. So I got a recommendation for you guys. If you feel that way and you're just like, oh, hey, I want more sleep. I got to just get up, get going, and listen to me. Turn it up. And what do I mean by that? So I got my playlist. It's kind of hilarious. I call it my, I think the title of it's like OMG, my favorites, or something silly like that. And it's so funny because it went right from like, I don't know. First it was Led Zeppelin, Livin' Lovin', She's Just a Woman. And that song always makes me laugh. I don't know why, right from the beginning. I used to have a buddy, we used to ride to work together, and if that song came on, we did not go into the building until it was over, and used to have some really good times carpooling with him. But then it went into the Rolling Stones, Shattered, which is hilarious. I just think some of these songs are so well written and so exciting, and the music and the composition in them is just so amazing. And then we went right into Roberta Flack. And, just singing to the top of my lungs. I'm sorry, neighbors and dog and Tim, but yeah, that changed everything. So the thing is that while I was doing that, I wasn't having to clear my throat, and I thought that was funny that I didn't have to. But as soon as I sat down to start doing this, I'm like clearing my throat, making sure everything's all right and all that good stuff. And I just, I just owned it and clicked on the go live button, and here I am. So if I have to clear my throat, which by the way is another funny song, Let Me Clear My Throat. Look it up. It's hilarious. It's one of those songs that you may or may not like what it's about, but the music and the excitement and it's live and they're just having a good old time singing that. And that's pretty much where I am with music. A lot of times I find myself, I can't believe I like that song and that I was listening to it with my kids in the 90s. And, now here I am in the 2019s. And I really started listening to these lyrics, and I'm like, oh my God, what was going on? Why was I letting them listen to it? And furthermore, why was I enjoying it so much? Because it's funny and it's entertainment, and we need to stop taking things a little bit so seriously. Just enjoy the arts. They're there for you. So that's my little soapbox this morning. It is Friday. A lot of people are, oh, good, and me. I specifically checked in and said, do I get a chance to sleep in tomorrow? And I do this thing on a Friday night, and I say, man, there's nothing going to wake me up tomorrow. And sure enough, I wake up at the time I always do, Monday through Friday. So sleeping in my head is just this little theory and idea that I wish I could do. And quite honestly, if I actually do it, I feel terrible. I missed maybe a sunrise. I missed maybe the morning birds that are just, kind of hollering at each other and wake him up, get him up, we got food to get, and all that kind of stuff. And those beautiful conversations that are happening out there in the canopy that we call trees. And there's so much going on out there. And you've got birds, they're busy, they're either building nests or protecting babies and for their life. You think about a little bird and all the things that could happen. And you've got squirrels. They're just running around. There's just something going on with the squirrel. They're so busy and they're so fast. They're so fast. And anything they do, even when they hear you, they twitch their head really fast. It's not like a slow sloth turn. It's this amazing sense of urgency. Like, what was that? What was that sound? And they got to go from one place to the other, and they just sometimes I think, are you just faking looking busy? Because, you never stop. Even when they stop and they're sitting there and they're actually eating and storing stuff in their cute little cheeks, they're chewing pretty fast. They got a lot going on in there in that storage unit. Imagine that. Imagine that. They are storing things in their cheeks, and all for their families. For here it is May, and they're preparing. They're getting things ready for what's coming up, and I can't help but equate that with us, how we really slow down. Fridays, kind of like that day when we're going to tie up loose ends and we got to take care of this or that. But we, as salespeople, we're really moving at a little bit of a slower pace oftentimes on Friday. And maybe you're in an organization where you have a big old sales meeting on Friday morning to get you all pumped up. I like that. I really like that. And what I mean by that is not just a stupid, silly old meeting, like a really big meeting, like, shucking and jiving, and whether you had a bad week or a good week, people are just really glad to be able to come together as salespeople because they have a common bond of being almost insane to actually go out into the world and be told no all the time on purpose. I heard about a year ago that no is our second favorite word. I can't believe I've been in sales all my life and had just finally heard that, because no gets you going places. No is our, if you would equate us and take a look at us as living the life of a squirrel. So when you hear no, you know that it's definitive. It's no right now. Maybe you'll call them back in the future, but right now you have the opportunity of being able to tie that up, put that little package away, and get started on newer stuff that might give you the yes. We make, in our industry, we're in advertising sales, and we make hundreds of calls weekly. If we're doing our job, if we're working like a squirrel and we are being very efficient, and there is no time to, just sit back, relax, and stop. We have to make phone calls, listen to what's going on, listen to our prospect, believe in our product, present it as best we can over and over and over again. And we do this hundreds of times. And while it sounds really cool that if we could have 500 sales in a week, we just can't. There isn't time for that. But we have to build our nest with hundreds of calls. And we have to gather all that food, and, squirrels get all these little nuts and all this kind of stuff and this whatever the heck. Have you ever seen a squirrel's nest? That is some precision, and that takes time. And what he is showing us is that he doesn't have time to slow down. And if we could get a dose of that, just a dose, just give me an injection of the squirrel and what he's doing and his sense of urgency. And, when you're talking to your prospects and they're kind of putting you off another week, and they're taking control of your life, and you're like, okay, sure, yeah, I'll call you back on Tuesday. No. What is different between today being Friday and Tuesday, Mr. Prospect? Is there, share with me what I haven't done to get you going on this. And whether it is you're selling cars, furniture, makeup, I've sold it all. But if you're selling advertising, why would you want to put this off another day? Why would you want to put off, Mr. Potential Advertiser, the opportunity to get your name in front of whatever your medium is, 5,000 people, 2,000 people, whatever it is? Why would you put that off? What's the difference between Friday and Tuesday? The difference is, as a sales executive, the difference is what's in our mind. We are not taking control. I don't mean abusing or bullying your prospect into closing the deal. That is so old school and it's stupid. I mean, do your job and create a sense of urgency for this guy to think, I don't have another minute to waste. I've got to get my name in front of these people. Why would I wait? If I've already got this, we've already talked about, okay, we'll go advertising here. If I've already got my copy to you, if I already know what I want my ad to say, if my ad department is just drumming fingers and can't wait to design your ad, what are we waiting on? I'll tell you what you're doing. You are afraid to ask him that question. And so I challenge you as sales execs to ask that scary question. Because guess what? If you ask him, what are we waiting on? What else can I do? What is it that's holding this up? I can't wait to get you in my publication. I can't wait to see what this may potentially do for your business. If you are afraid to ask him that, that's you. That's your hang up. It's not the customer that is putting us off. It's you and your brain letting him. So imagine this. Put this in your mind. If you are in sales and there's something that you've been working on, and say it's a proposal, and I understand politics and you got to wait for the right people to be there to sign and all that other kind of BS that gets in our way of closing a deal. I'm talking about the simple ones. I'm talking about the guy you've been talking to for 3 weeks and he keeps putting you off. That time that you're taking of following up with him could be time that you're taking making a brand new call, telling somebody how amazing this opportunity is, and getting them interested in it too. And if you're not doing that, shame on you. Don't you dare be waiting on the guy that says, oh, I'll have it for you on Friday. You talk to him on Monday. You talk to him on Wednesday. He said, oh, I'll have it for you on Friday. You call him on Friday. A, he took the day off because it's a long weekend. B, he's not there, and so you have to leave a voicemail. Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you do that to you? So start having a little bit more of the spirit of the squirrel, which is, by the way, in a book called Gung Ho. I didn't make that up. But after I read this book, I really started looking at the squirrel. And he's the only one I have access to. They also talk about, the little guy that builds the dam. Is that a beaver that builds a dam? He goes through these animals. It's an Indian guy, and he talks about the different characteristics of animals and how we can apply them to our life. And it's amazing and it's fascinating. And if it's a cute little book, it's a very easy read, and you got to take a look at it. If you've already read it, read it again. I keep going to it for excerpts. I just go and Google these different things. Go out there, Google Spirit of the Squirrel. This book is going to come up. It's a really cool book. But anyway, we need a dose of that. And as salespeople, I know who you are. I know it. I've been there. And what was happening is, we allow these people to do that. Well, think a little bit differently. Think like that squirrel. And that person, you thought that $2,000 sale was going to come through, and it didn't. And again, they're putting you off. Oh, call me after the holiday. Boy, isn't that amazing? You're going to hear a lot of that as well. But if they did that to you, they took bread off your table. So it's almost like us destroying all the food that the squirrel put together, his nest. You've got people taking money off of your table. You've got people taking money out of the potential vacation you want to take your family on, out of the home that you hope to build. That's the exciting roller coaster of being in sales. But the big deal about sales, and this is what's forgotten, and I'm going to close here in a minute, and I always say I'm only going to do a few minutes, and then I get crazy and I can't stop. Here's the thing about sales. If you are constantly creating opportunity, you will never not have it. So if you do get the guy that says, okay, fine, call me after the holiday, call me on Tuesday, and he's already told you to call you 4 or 5 times, you should have in your arsenal at least 10 other people that you should be following up with, that maybe that was sincere. Maybe they really did need to meet with their partner. Maybe they really did need to gather their art or have their art department design it. But I'm telling you right now, if you start building just like a squirrel, he's preparing so everything lasts for him for the winter, so that he has everything he needs for his family. If you start thinking like that, you will be not only a top